I see a question about what
Yes.
drew us to this BME program specifically. For me, being pre-med, I had an extra factor of looking into the biology department. So UConn has a pretty strong BME department, like engineering in general, and biology department. Specifically for BME, when I compared it to a couple of the other schools I was applying to, I noticed that the BME at UConn was more established. BME is a fairly new major just in general. And out of that, UConn has actually had BME a little bit longer than a lot of the other programs I was looking at. And their advising was strong. They had more of a set curriculum. That being said, like it is changing at UConn as well, but just compared to other programs, I felt it was a little bit more directed and a little bit more solidified.
And the rest, Heather, Lexi, do you see the questions? What excited you about this particular BME program?
I think in addition to all of what Tahar said, especially if you're pre-med, considering the price for what you're getting, like UConn has an excellent department, and especially if you're in state, it's a lot less than other schools. So if you're going to be paying for medical school after, like that's definitely something I considered. And my sister who went to medical school after going to UConn also definitely considered.
What about BME?
Yes, Elaine, maybe can you respond also to this question?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that particularly excited me about the program is how you have the opportunity to do so many hands-on activities. So my freshman year, I actually worked in one of the labs on campus. So you can always get involved in research which is really great to put on your resume, whether you're going to med school or whether you're looking to go into the job field after you graduate. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved, and you just learn a lot of things in the program that'll be really valuable once you graduate.
Yeah, Lexi, can you share your experience? Why our
Sure.
particular?
I was going to say how supportive the all the professors are. So I wanted to do research in a mechanical engineering lab, but the only way I could get it to fit into my schedule was if I received credit. So all the advisors I talked to helped me kind of scope my project to fit into my BME realm. So I was also getting research in a lab at the same time was gaining credit towards my degree, which I thought was really great. So you get that practical research experience, but it's also your coursework, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. I think what I would like to support also my students and program, we have really very good equipped our laboratories. So the students have the access to the very good devices, which we are purchasing regularly, updating. And after doing certain experiments with them, I can already see how powerful they are after this type of learning. Oh yes, why majoring BME? Were you able to study abroad? So we have a couple different programs. We have in Australia, which some of our students goes. I think it is the winter term or fall term, and they are going to Sydney. There is also the program which is in Germany. There is a program in Spain and in England, but they are choosing different courses, but they would like to absolutely go with this type of experience for sure.
Also on top of that, kind of combining the two most recent questions, I was part of Engineers Without Borders. So after my freshman year, I got to go to India for 6 weeks. So even though it wasn't studying abroad, it was still being able to travel and do engineering work. And for fitting stuff in with a heavy load, coming to college, you definitely have more time in general than in high school. So I was an athlete at UConn, which is 20 hours a week. So you can get as involved as you want, and really like there are so many cool things to get involved with. So as long as you can manage your time, I wouldn't really worry about too much of a heavy load.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Sahar.
Sorry. Yeah, and in terms of like fitting fun things in, there's a bunch of things to do like academically related, like research. There's the BME Society Club. There's pre-med club. There's a bunch of academic clubs that you can do outside, and there's also a bunch of fun things. There's a tea club, breakdancing club. There's like different dance teams. I know one of my BME friends was on a dance team that would like travel nationwide, and it was a pretty big time commitment, but it wasn't something that you can't adjust with your schedule. And I personally was a part of quite a few clubs and research, and those clubs can range from being academic to volunteering to being just something for just getting your stress out as well. So it's all manageable. It just depends on how you plan it. And one more thing, even if you don't study abroad during the semester, there's a bunch of opportunities to do work abroad over the summer. I did an internship during winter break in India, and I did a medical mission trip over the summer in Haiti. So there's just a bunch of opportunities that might not necessarily be a whole semester abroad or a whole like month and a half, but you can definitely fit in abroad opportunities that are still in your interest field.
I should also support my students. They are great examples for others. I don't know how they are doing, but they have a very heavy load at the school, and also they are very sportively active, very well keeping the network of their friends. So it is very uplifting. So I am constantly stimulating to even be the best, thanks to them.
I can jump into that point.
Yes,
This is not academic related, but UConn has a great new gym. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out in person, you can check it on their website. I worked at the gym and I got to teach fitness classes, which had nothing to do with BME or academia, but it was really fun. It was a great job. And then on to that point, sports is really fun. So I know a lot of people go to basketball games and stuff. So there's more to do than just academics on campus.
All right, and here we see the entrepreneurship opportunities are available, and yes, our students can take the courses in business department, and even research for undergraduates during the summer is entrepreneurship related. So it is a good opportunity. We have a very good professors who are teaching our students and interacting. Even in the past, I had my students BME, they took 1 or 2 courses in business just to help them when they will be graduated to start their own company. Yeah. Well, there is another.
I think that kind of goes back to what Sahar said, this most recent question about the GPAs, where she said like English would be harder for her than engineering. I think similar for me. I always had a harder time with biology classes and like that pure memorization. So I think a lot of people struggle with math and physics and all of that stuff, but if you enjoy that, then I haven't really had a hard time keeping my GPA up, and I don't think other people do.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think in general we're taking more credits than a biology student would be, just the way that the course load is structured. So that does mean that you're taking a few more classes than a biology student might be at certain times. Again, that also depends on how they structure their studies. But in general, we do have more things to be taken care of. And if you're a pre-med, then you're taking your engineering classes and your biology classes, so the work load is a little bit more. But as Megan said, if it's something that you are interested in, it's something that you enjoy doing, you will find the time and effort to put into that to be able to do well.
Here is the question: is there a 5-year BME and MBA program? I do not think that right now, but I heard that it is the way to go, particularly when medical devices are very popular and they need support from business partners. So there was I remember in the past, there was an attempt even to create a very unique course who brought BME professors and MBA, the professor from business department. I don't know at this point, this program is already on the surface.
I might be able to add to that point. I know there's a 5-year BME and a BME master's program that you apply to your junior year, I believe. And then for the MBA, so my job is in consulting. I'm doing consulting for an engineering firm to help launch medical device products. So my plan is to work for them for a while, and then usually companies will support you in getting an MBA. So that's my plan. I'm going to work for 2 years and then go back to school to get my MBA while I work. So there are paths you can go where you're working and getting an MBA, but I'm not sure about the particular 5-year BME and MBA program.
Yes, and I think this is the good approach because many of my students are going for the work experience and after I'm back for MBA program. Yeah.
See,
Do you have any others to make this work? So this is BME is more lab oriented. So yes, it is correct. So how does the whole online classes work? So I explained at the very beginning that in this situation, the lab needs to prepare more materials, more different angles of understanding the material. There is a demonstration included, the recorded entire process of the experiment, and even I provided 2 experiments right now during this COVID-19 situation, and I went to the lab and I did my recording with the assistance of my son who recorded me at the time. And after the software analysis was done at home, so everything was brought to the students to their attention, and just to help them to understand the complex material. Yes, there is another. Oh yes. Do you room with an engineering student? There is another question, I think, to the Megan. Whoever sees the last question is happy to help to the answer.
I can answer this.
Yes.
So in the honors program, the rooming is up to you. They don't necessarily specifically room you with an engineering student. In your first year for honors, you're all going to be in Buckley or Shippey, and you can either choose to go random or select a specific roommate. They don't have to be engineering. If you choose to do a learning community later on, for example, if you're on the engineering floor for Next Gen, which I think is now called Worth Towers, over there, you are most likely going to be with an engineering roommate because that whole floor is all engineers. But for first year for honors, you don't necessarily have to have an engineering roommate, and the years to come too, it's your choice.
I actually, my freshman and sophomore year, I did the engineering learning community, and I recommend it to all of you guys. I think it's a really great experience because you're rooming with people that have either biomedical engineering as their major or just throughout the engineerings in general. And the building actually itself provides a lot of resources. So there's actually engineering tutors that come to the building. So I really would recommend you all checking it out.
Okay. Honors versus engineering learning community for the first year. Is anyone ready to answer?
Yeah. For first year, you have to live in Buckley and Shippey so that you're not necessarily in a learning community, you're just in the honors learning community. So for the first year, I don't think there's a choice that's given for that. In the following years, you can choose to be with an honors housing or learning community housing.
Whimsy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wasn't a part of either, but I know quite a few of my friends who were. And I think that just comes down to what your interests are. For example, Whimsy is more focused on women in engineering. The engineering LC is going to have just broader engineering things. So depending on what things interest you, because they will give you different opportunities in that specific field. So if you feel like you want to work more in bringing awareness of women in engineering and living with people who have that same type of goal or interest, then go with that versus engineering. But I don't think being a part of a certain learning community will exclude you from the opportunities that the other learning community has. If you do want to do something that the other learning community is hosting, I think you're still allowed to attend them and you're still allowed to be a part of it. So it doesn't close any doors for you to be part of one or the other. It's just more in your interests.